You found yourself on another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United, and on today's episode, it was Boxing Day around the NBA, but for the Sacramento Kings, the bench of the Portland Trailblazers simply outworked them as the Sacramento Kings clearly fell into the trap, while the Bulls celebrated the day after Christmas with a big win, and Andre Drummond went crazy. We got a lot to break down right here on Let 'Em Know Kings United. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United. Let 'em know, Nation. You already know what time it is. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Know Kings United, your Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and Chicago Bulls post-game reaction podcast. And I am your host, Scarlett Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. And you can find Let 'em Know Kings United, which is 100% completely free and available on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, and wherever else you want to listen to the show. Give the show a follow on those platforms. If you can please turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you want to listen to this on. It is a great way to support the podcast, and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Like I said at the top of the show, I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful holiday season, because the Sacramento Kings looked like absolute garbage. 130 to 113 loss. Are you kidding me? Like, it was supposed to be the day after Christmas, right? Everybody was supposed to be in a better mood. Everybody was supposed to be locked in. But right now, this Sacramento Kings team is looking like dog crap. Absolute dog crap. How do you allow 64 points off the bench? 64 off the bench. Mind you, this Portland Trailblazers team had zero offense. One of the worst offenses in the league, and nobody showed up. Wait, actually, two people showed up. Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. That's pretty fucking it. That's pretty fucking it. Everybody else should have stayed home. Everybody else should have stayed home on the bus. Because what I saw from the Sacramento Kings team tonight, from the second quarter on, it was absolutely disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. It was almost like Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox were the only ones that were allowed to play, and everybody else was sitting in the back doing chores in the laundry room, because that was absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. And here's what's crazy about it. This is the eighth time this season where the Sacramento Kings got blown out. I mean, look at the losses. Look at the losses that the Kings had, right? Last night against Portland, blown out. The Boston loss before Christmas, blown out. The New Orleans loss, you can argue both New Orleans games, or actually all three, blown out. The Clippers, after the win against the Golden State Warriors, blown out. Houston, both times, blown out. There is absolutely no accountability. There is absolutely no leadership. Domantas and De'Aaron, I'm talking to you. If you guys are supposed to be like the all-stars that are carrying this team, if you were the only ones that showed up, why didn't you, at the bench, after the timeout, scream your heads off? I mean, look at LeBron James. LeBron James did this when Mike Brown was coaching the Cavaliers. When Mike Brown, at the time, was coaching Cleveland, he was like, what the hell do you want to do? What the hell do you want to do? You want to get your doors kicked off? And LeBron said, screw that, or F that, or fuck that. We're doing what we need to do in the training camp. We're doing what we need to do. We need to be locked in. You did this, you do this, and we gonna win this game. That's the kind of accountability that I want to see. That's the kind of accountability that Sacramento does not have. The Chicago Bulls, for the most part, have it. The Bulls have it because they are one of the most improved teams that I've seen in the NBA right now. Sacramento, I don't give a damn about your record being 17-12. I don't give a damn about how you're winning games. Mike Brown, this coaching staff, and the entire roster, you all need to get checked. You all need to get your ass kicked. Because right now, there is no mentality, there's no leadership, and it is an absolute disgrace. You getting outworked by the bench, 65-17 of the bench in favor of Portland? Disgusting. You allow Dupe Reith to add a career-high 25 points and grab 9 rebounds with DeAndre Ayton out? Disgusting. You did feast in the paint, but whoopee damn do. You did not take advantage of your paint advantage because all you did was chuck threes. Complacent AF on offense. Complacent. No action, no screens, nothing. You wanted to do whatever the hell you want to do, and Portland just simply outplayed you. Chauncey Billups should have lost. This should have been the easiest win that the Sacramento Kings had all year. But no. You want to be complacent. You don't want to lock in defensively. You don't want to be physical. You wanted to allow Portland to get whatever the hell they want, especially the bench. And this is what happens. Garbage. Chauncey Billups said, we talked about how we needed to get off to better starts and play better at home. And we did that. We did a really good job of that. All credit to Portland. All credit to the Portland Trailblazers. You know why? Because that was the best win of the season. If there was a momentum win that the Portland Trailblazers needed for their season, that was exactly that they needed. Dupe Reith did really well, like I said. 25 points and grabbed 9 boards. Simons, who's hooping right now, 29 points. Scoot Henderson added a career-high 11 assists and had only 1 turnover in one of his strongest games of his professional career. He said this after the game. I'm an unselfish player and somebody that just makes plays. I just had to go out there and be confident and get the win by any means. I wish that the Sacramento Kings should learn. I wish that the Sacramento Kings could learn from Scoot Henderson, because that is a player that wants it. That is a player that says to me, we're going to win games by any means necessary. With the exception of De'Aaron Fox, who added 43 points, and he was the only Sacramento Kings player that can knock down a 3 for the life of it, and Domantas Sabonis, who had 34 points and beasted and feasted all over the paint because DeAndre Ayton was out. Nobody in a Sacramento Kings uniform deserved to play. Nobody. I don't give a damn about how you're 17-12. That was pathetic. That was inexcusable. This was a game that you got simply outworked. Mike Brown said after the game, we didn't do a good job defensively. That's been our Achilles heel for a while. We give up 130 points and allow their bench to get going the way they did. It made for a long night. Mike Brown, I never thought I would say this to you, but I'm going to say it. You did not deserve to win the Coach of the Year last year. I said it. Y'all can delete this podcast if you want. I said it. Joe Mazzulla from Boston deserved the Coach of the Year last year. And you can argue that Joe Mazzulla is going to win the unanimous Coach of the Year this year because Boston is the true standard. The Sacramento Kings are nowhere near last year's team. Nowhere near it. You are complacent on offense. You are lethargic. Defensively, you did not play with any poise. None. You just played Olay defense all freaking night, and you allowed the Portland bench to go off and get whatever the hell they want. That is embarrassing. That is truly embarrassing. The Clippers play better than you. Look at the Clippers. Look at the Clippers. They were playing a trap opponent like the Charlotte Hornets, right? And I was watching the very tail end of this game. And Charlotte was making a big run, and I said to myself, oh no, this could be a trap game for LA. What did LA do? They chipped in defensively and finished the game on a 24-9 run. That's what you're supposed to do against winnable teams like the Charlotte Hornets. The Sacramento Kings came in here and not only fell into the trap, but for the 8th time this year, they got their tires blown out. Nobody deserves to go back to Sacramento. Hell, as a matter of fact, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, I'm talking to you. You either show leadership on this team or get the hell out. Nobody deserves to fly to Atlanta. I want every single Sacramento Kings player to drive to the State Farm Arena. Drive to Atlanta. And then you practice 24 hours and learn how to lock in defensively, because that was absolutely inexcusable. For the 8th time, you get blown out. For the 8th time, you get outworked. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, I'm more confident in watching the LA Clippers live and the Sacramento Kings on demand than myself watching the Sacramento Kings live and the Clippers on demand. As far as I'm concerned, this Atlanta Hawks game coming up for Sacramento, it's a trap game. Why? Because Atlanta does a good job of shooting threes, something that, with the exception of De'Aaron Fox, who made 7 threes, nobody else could do. And as a matter of fact, they are the 3rd best offense in the NBA right now. Number 3 in the NBA as far as three-point percentage. We're nowhere near that because we don't know how to play an offense. This is a trend. This is a trend that I'm worried about. I have a bad feeling that Sacramento, they're not going to get better. No, they're not. I'm sorry. They are not getting better. They are getting complacent. They don't know how to play together. And Mike Brown, something's got to change. Something's got to change. Because I don't see any leadership. I don't see any physicality, especially on defense. I don't see the ability of locking in. This is just pathetic. This is pathetic and an absolute garbage. Y'all should be ashamed. If you watched the Sacramento Kings last night, I truly apologize. Because I am sick to my stomach even talking about this right now. Portland shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3. Pretty much, Portland just dominated. Portland dominated every single stat, with the exception of points in the paint, 62-60 in favor of Sacramento. But who gives a damn? Who gives a damn when you allow 65 points to the Portland Trailblazer bench? And this team in Portland had 0 to no offense. And you allow a 7-win team coming in to blow the brakes off you. I am truly embarrassed. I am embarrassed. I am disgusted. And right now, I cannot be trusted. You ruined my night, Sacramento. You should have beat them. You shouldn't have beaten them. But no, you played a trap game. You wanted to play complacent. You don't want to lock in defensively. And that's what happens. De'Aaron Fox, 43 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals and a block. Domas, 34 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it for Sacramento. As far as the Kings or the Blazers, I could just go off the bench. Reith, 25 points, 9 rebounds. A plus minus a plus 24. Walker, 17 points. A plus minus a plus 13. Brogdon, 19 points. A plus minus a plus 13 with 6 assists and 5 rebounds on the night. Jeremy Grant, 13 points. He was 1 for 3 from 3, but 5 for 10 for the field. 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Thibault, 6 points. 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, a plus minus a plus 26. Scoot Henderson, 21 points, 11 assists, career high, a plus-minus, a plus 21. Trailblazers, congratulations. You got the best win of the season in my book. As far as the Sacramento Kings, I'm calling every single game a trap game until you learn how to play complete games. And as far as I'm concerned, I am reluctantly maybe not watching you guys against Atlanta. I would rather watch the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday night because what I saw was absolutely disgusting. Garbage. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should hang your heads in shame. Because I am absolutely disgusted by the way we performed. Disgusted. With the exception of De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, I don't want to see any Sacramento Kings player with their heads up. None. And Mike Brown, you don't get a free pass for this. Last year, you anchored one of the best offenses the league has ever seen. Coach of the year, right? This year, none of that. None of that. You're trying to say that you're making the Sacramento Kings uncomfortable, right? You're trying to say how the Sacramento Kings need to learn how to sacrifice some things and adapt. Well, they're not adapting. They're perishing. Look at the Clippers. Look at the Celtics. Hell, even look at the Chicago Bulls. Those three teams, with the exception of Chicago, are looking better. Actually, Chicago is looking much better. But you know what I mean. Something's got to change, or Mike Brown, I'm not praising you anymore. Be better. Do better. I am disgusted with you right now. Sacramento, y'all are pathetic. Just pathetic. No leadership. No nothing. Again, a 7-win team. And you fell into the trap and you get outplayed. Good teams want to do that. Good teams want to do that. Just saying. This Sacramento Kings team is average. Average, middle of the pack. Coming up next, we're going to talk about a Chicago Bulls performance that was simply not only incredible, but absolutely unforgettable with a big boy win over the Atlanta Hawks, and a center that normally is a bench player went absolutely crazy. We're going to talk about that coming up on Let 'Em Know Kings United. We're back on Let 'Em Know Kings United. Now that I got my ranting and venting completely out of the way, which is good for me because sometimes ranting and venting is good for my passionate sports, my passion for sports that I have. I want to talk about a really, really big positive that happened on Tuesday night, and that was the Chicago Bulls getting a big monumental win over the Atlanta Hawks, 118-113 in a game that, coming into this game, it was a virtually tied for 10th in the standings. Coming into this game, the Hawks were 12-17 on the season, while the Chicago Bulls were 13-18 on the year coming in. So it was technically a tie to see who is going to be in the 10th position in the standings. And as many of you know, if you are in the 7th through 10th position in the NBA standings, that would mean an NBA play-in spot. So right now, the Bulls are 10th place in the standings, and they are in a play-in position, while the Atlanta Hawks are on the outside looking in. But a lot could change, and we still have a lot of season to go. But DeMar DeRozan felt like a kid in his bedroom again, pouring water on his head to simulate sweat and taking imaginary jumpers. I mean, anybody can do that. Any basketball fan or any little kid that imagines himself playing in an NBA basketball team. Many of you might feel like DeMar DeRozan right now. I'm just saying, dreaming of dreaming of moments like this with the crowd roaring as each shot fell through the net. It was almost like Michael Jordan in the 1990s in the United Center went absolutely crazy for the Bulls, and the crowd erupted. They probably erupted when Michael Jordan played for the Bulls, right? It felt in that same moment again as DeMar DeRozan scored 25 big points, and the Bulls won for the 9th time in their last 13 games with Zach LaVine sidelined because of inflammation in his right foot. And they did it this time without a big man, and that big man was Nikola Vucevic because of bruised muscles around his left hip and groin. And you know what? And you know how that happened? It happened because last game against Cleveland, Vucevic was hurt trying to defend a dunk by the Cavaliers' Max Strus, which, by the way, was a nasty dunk, by the way. A Strus right knee struck Vucevic down below the belt. I mean, honestly, during that time, it was originally called an offensive foul on Max Strus. Now, J.B. Bickerstaff, if I remember correctly, challenged that call, and it was a successful challenge, giving a blocking foul to Nikola Vucevic, and Vucevic was hurt because of it. And he's going to be out for 7 to 10 days, according to my reliable source that told me all of this. So Vucevic is going to be out for 7 to 10 days. Step in to the starting lineup, Andre Drummond, who is a big-time starter in the league. He started over 700 games, I believe, in his career. Most of the starts came when he was with the Detroit Pistons, which is absolutely impressive. And this guy went absolutely crazy. He went crazy. He had season highs of 24 points and 25 rebounds in his first start of the season. And by the way, they did a really great job of containing Trae Young, which I was a little bit nervous going in because coming into this game, he had a streak of 7 games that Trae Young scored 30 points or more. The Bulls did a really good job of cooling him off. But the main story of this game for me was Andre Drummond. I mean, this man, I don't know why Billy Donovan has Andre Drummond coming off the bench. I don't know why. I just don't know why. I get that Nikola Vucevic is one of those Iron Man guys who started all of 82 games last season, but this guy is just starting off. Like some nights he's on, I'm speaking of Vooch here, and other nights he's off. And Andre Drummond came in here and he just bullied the Atlanta Hawks, okay? He just took the city of Atlanta and told them to go straight into the weight room. That is insane. That is absolutely insane to me. And Andre Drummond said, I still believe I'm a starter in this league. You're damn right you're a starter. You're damn right. I don't understand why you come off the bench when you're giving these kinds of numbers. That is crazy. That is crazy to me that a two-time NBA All-Star out of UConn who went absolutely bananas in Detroit, then he went to the Philadelphia 76ers, he got waived, and because of that, the 76ers don't have any depth anymore. Now that you go into Chicago and you do this, you put a 20-20 game for the first time since 2021, and I wonder who you played for in 2021 the last time you did this. Oh yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Andre Drummond is going to likely get to start these next 2 games against the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night at home and then Philadelphia at home before going to Philadelphia for a back-to-back home and home, whatever you want to call it. But Andre Drummond, man, Man, listen, you get the all-star, you get the goon of the night, whatever you want to call it, because Dre, you went crazy. Kobe White and Ayodosumu each scored 19 points. However, Kobe White, something's up with you. I don't know what it is, because before this, you went absolutely crazy, especially from three-point range. You've been cooling off a little bit, my guy, and I'm getting a little nervous about you. He missed all 7 3-pointers, and the Bulls were 7 of 25 from beyond the arc, but they made enough shots to bounce back from a loss from an injury-riddled Cleveland team on Saturday, which was completely a trap game for Chicago, let's be honest. The Bulls should have had that game down pat, and we should have been like 15 and 18 right now, 3 games below 500, or what was our previous record? 15 and 17 right now, 2 games below 500 instead of 4 games below 500. But you know what? This was a quality win against Atlanta, so I'm not going to complain as long as we got the win. But we should have had the game against Cleveland, but I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Bogdan Bogdanović, he was a 3-point sniper as expected. He finished with 22 points to lead Atlanta in scoring. DeJounte Murray finished with 17 after scoring 20 or more in 5 straight games, and the Hawks lost their 3rd in a row. Alex Caruso, let me tell you something. This dude is a defensive MVP. I'm going to argue right now that Alex Caruso should have been the team captain of the Chicago Bulls. He does a great job, sort of like the Mike linebacker in an NFL. You know how you watch NFL football games and the Mike linebacker is simply the coach of the defense? He calls defensive plays. He gets players to be where they were supposed to be. That was Alex Caruso to a T last night. He was communicating on defense. He was saying screen left, screen right, watch the back cuts. He took a charge near the end of the game to set up the king of the fourth, DeMar DeRozan. Compton's in the house to go absolutely crazy, especially late. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This is why the Chicago Bulls are looking so much better than they were in the beginning of the year. Zach LaVine injury aside, this Bulls team is a special kind of team. And even though they're in the play-in spot right now, you can make an argument that they are not playing like a play-in team right now. If they keep this going, then maybe I can get behind them more. But Bulls Nation, you better be excited because this is fun to watch right now. Billy Donovan was not sure how long Vucevic will be out. He's going to have an MRI schedule, but like I said, according to my previous source, that Vuce will be out for 7 to 10 days. Andre Drummond is going to be in there. And I trust the Chicago Bulls are going to be fine, especially with Big Dre going crazy on the glass. He is the Windex man. He cleans glass. Shout out to Stacey King. And it's a man's game, Atlanta. You acted like little boys in front of Andre Drummond's. This was Big Dre's house. You should wipe your feet before you enter it. Woo, I'm excited. 46% of the field for both teams. The Bulls shot 45.7%, but you can argue 46% for both teams, so it was pretty even. Both teams really struggled from three-point range. The free throw percentage, 87% for Chicago, 86% for Atlanta. The rebounds, 48-40 in favor of the Bulls. 18 of them were offensive rebounds. I mean, Andre Drummond grabbed 25 of them, so you got to figure that the Bulls would win a rebounding matchup like that, right? The assists were 24-23 in favor of Atlanta. The steals, 10-6 in favor of the Bulls. The blocks were 3-2 in favor of Atlanta. The Bulls did a really good job of taking care of the ball, especially in the second half, with only 10 turnovers on the night. The points in the paint, 56-52 in favor of Chicago. Fast break points, 9-7 in favor of Chicago. But the story of the game for the Chicago Bulls, despite the fact that DeMar DeRozan was Mr. Fourth Quarter once again, he finished with 25 points. He had 6 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal. Andre Drummond was the biggest star of the night. 24 points, 25 rebounds, 3 steals, and an assist, and 2 blocks. But here's what I really don't understand. How was he a +- a +4 on the night with a stat line like that? I mean, He should have been a plus 25, maybe 26, maybe a plus 30 if I remember, but only a plus 4 with a stat line like that? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I don't understand how a plus minus stat like that works, but Andre Drummond should have had a much higher plus minus with the stats that he's pulling up. Kobe White, 19 points, 5 rebounds. He was a plus 7 even though he was 0 for 7 for the three-point range. Alex Caruso, 11 points, 5 assists. 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 big charge that he took to set up the king of the fourth quarter. Ayo Dosunmu was amazing off the bench. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals on the night. Bogdan Bogdanovic led the Atlanta Hawks in scoring with 22 points. He was 3 for 12 from three-point range with 3 rebounds and an assist. Trae Young, we did a really good job of containing him for the most part. 21 points, 13 assists on the night with 2 rebounds. DeJounte Murray, he was also a big threat coming in. I felt the Bulls did a really amazing job with him. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. That was a good win. That was a good win for the Chicago Bulls against Atlanta. Now we have an opportunity to stay home, to stay the course against one of the best offenses in the NBA in the Indiana Pacers. I expect Tyrese Halliburton versus DeMar DeRozan is one of the key matchups, and another key matchup, Miles Turner versus Andre Drummond. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be exciting. I cannot wait to see if the Bulls continue to ride this wave that they got going right now. That's going to do it for today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. You can find this show on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, or wherever you want to listen to the show. Give the show a follow on those platforms, turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends. Give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you want to listen to this on. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season. I am your host, Skylar Weisberg, and I will see you right back here for another episode of Let 'Em Know Kings United.